in an hour or so. Thanks, Finish. Yeah, what we're going to do is currently at Borrego going to fly that obstacle departure procedure, but here at Borrego it's actually quite basic. So Borrego is here again near the Palm Springs area, and this is the procedure that I'm going to practice flying today. It's very, very basic. The only new thing, I guess, for me is it's as you look at the different markings here, these are GPS located points. So this is an air nav departure procedure. That means that we need to set those into the GPS. We cannot use VOR radios or NDBs or any kind of the traditional alpha, slant alpha kind of beacons to get our way around this particular departure procedure. So that's interesting. I'm going to set those in the GPS, see if that all works. Also need to refresh my memory of how to actually use my own radio panel here to set the GPS, because I figured configure that stuff in Spotnik, so that's interesting and, well, good to rehearse once more. Hey Snipe, good to see you. Nice clear cam now. What did you change? I added a light, so just behind my screen, which I actually prefer, because usually also when I'm flying at night, usually my screen lights up my face, and that only works when I'm flying in daylight, obviously, because then there's some brightness from the screen. But I noticed with the Agent, thanks for the follow. Welcome aboard. I noticed with night flying that usually you see me as one big dark shadow blob here, and I thought that's not really nice, so I put a light up there, and I think it's better. Also, I increased the resolution of my webcam, so it's better overall, I hope, at least. Also a bit cold, guys, my gosh. Winter is coming. Ancient Aviation, greetings from Canada. Good to see you here. Good to see you here. Pavage, good to see you as well, from Sweden. Nice, guys. Thanks, Snipe. Yeah, I think it looks good as well. But because I changed up the resolution, then my scenes, I guess, need to be, or at least my webcam scene or layer there needs to be reconfigured, because the resolution changes up all of the settings. But hey, that's just part of it. The Eco, good to see you. Good to see you here aboard. So, yeah, we're going to fly this departure. It's going to be so basic, I guess, but it's fun. We're going to go all the way up to Zungu. That's why it's also called the Zungu 1 departure. And I believe I am correct to say that the Zungu 1, so the 1 bit of it, is just a version. So if it updates this particular departure procedure, they're going to call it the Zungu 2 departure. So the 1 has no actual practical sense or relates to anything of a runway or some kind of style of departure. It's just a version number, I believe. And I think it's also good also for my own memory just to go through this obstacle departure plate just to make sure that I understand everything that's on it. Because there is a lot of information, as you can see. So I'm gonna clean my nose here. And as you can see also in the notes, there just below at the bottom, GPS required because it's an air nav. Procedure. Let me see. So on top again, Zungu, the Zungu 1 departure makes sense. Borrego Valley, that confirms. All kinds of other rubbish there in terms of what version, FAA related number or code, so we can look it up. I guess left up we can see the frequencies that we need, usually in the right order, and this means I would say that AWOS should actually be a little bit more on top, but I guess, well, I don't know. I would expect it to see that on top. But obviously here, because we are at a non-towered airport, we need to sign in with Approach, Tracon, or Center here to get our clearance as an IFR pilot. We're not going to fly IFR today. I'm not really trained for that just yet. I'm just trying to practice these procedures first. So, but that's why Center is on top. Then CTEF to announce our departures, and then once we are at Zungu or whatever clearance we may receive, we switch over to Center or departure and have a great time flying IFR. We also need AWOS for the weather, I guess. Slippy, good to see you. Looking forward for your flight again, Tim. Greetings from Germany. Well, welcome here aboard. Good to see you all, guys. Hoping you're having a great Sunday. I'm just going to do some casual flying here. Let me also put on some music, because that really is something that I like. That button, I guess? Yes, that button. Okay, so That's frequency-wise. Now we see this particular. This is not the profile view, obviously, but what is it called? It's called the map view. It has an official name. Slipped my mind here. We see restricted areas, as you can see here, Kane West, that we will look for at the VFR sectional very soon, to have an idea of what the restriction might be. Again, it's a MOA, so we're completely illegal to fly into it, but there's operational or military operations going on there, most likely. Perhaps not always, but it means that you don't like to be there with your little Cessna Skyhawk when they're doing all kinds of fancy maneuvers. Plan view, thanks Finish. Plan view, it's called the plan view. Roger. Now we've got two options here, as you can see. Both runway departure procedures are mentioned. We've got runway 8 and runway 26, and those have slightly different, well, takeoff gradient minimums, which is actually, at least to me currently in my study, one of the most important things to look for. I guess also with a departure procedure in general, because some departure procedures might require you to climb up quite significantly to remain clear of obstacles or terrain, and it's not guaranteed that your particular aircraft, also considering your payload and all of your stuff with you on board, actually enables you to meet that minimum climb gradient. And it's usually depicted or described in terms of feet per nautical mile, because that's more aircraft general, I guess. Because if you do it feet per minute, that depends on how fast your airplane actually goes. So you need to have some universal way to describe how fast you need to climb, and that's why you also need to convert this particular climb gradient to your particular aircraft in terms of feet per minute. Now, the best thing to do here, that I also mentioned in the previous stream, was to look for your max climb gradient for your particular aircraft, considering your payload and all of that stuff, and that would be for the Cessna Skyhawk around 500 feet per nautical mile. So anything that is below there, any kind of measure that's below there, that would allow us to fly here as a single pilot here in my current Cessna Skyhawk 172. And as you can see, there are different climb gradients. For runway 8, it's a 335 feet per nautical mile, but runway 26 is much steeper, 465. We can still make that one, I guess, but it's important to see that, to spot that. And I guess that's why, considering Barigo here, if we're going to fly up to the left here, we're going to fly into some terrain. If we look here outside, you see that there's all kinds of terrain on that side. So that's why we need to climb up quite significantly, in contrast to that side where we just have some very easygoing hills. So it all makes sense. Yes, well, GPS required airnav takeoff do not exceed 220 K, I guess, knots until Zungo. Well, with our Cessna Skyhawk, that doesn't really, I guess, well, it applies to us, but it's not really a concern to us, but because we cannot climb with 220, it's not even a top speed that we can meet. So that's fine as well. The MOA I'd like to see just in case. Oops. Here's that MOA. Oh yeah, I've just for my own visual kind of idea of what's going on. Zungu is a airnav. It's a GPS reference point, and it's not mentioned here on the sectional. So what I did was changed up for the first time actually the IFR low IFR chart, which does provide all of those airnavs. So here you can see and these are, again, this is a new world of reading IFR or just charts in general, which I cannot wait to delve into more. I'm already studying the the training videos by King Schools on how to read these charts. They look really cool. Yeah, I referenced Zungo here and then turned back to the VFR sectional to have an idea of where it is. Doesn't really matter that much, but because we're going to go to Salton Sea, I'd like to know, be able to switch to VFR flying, I guess, after Zungo. Peter, good to see you as well. Is the SIM card ready pack worth it? I think it is. I'm currently flying with the Beta 2 version. I think it's the latest and will be the last beta version of the upcoming 3.2 version. And I think it's really worth it if you are a serious flight simmer, I guess. just what degree of realism you're looking for in terms of flying your aircraft. And well, I like to be as realistic as possible, so I just love flying with sim coders. Also with the additional interaction points with the walk around and stuff, I really like. They're also including many more sounds, 3D sounds as well, which is really nice. So yeah, that's also the reason why I teamed up with the sim coders. So perhaps I'm a bit biased, but I would totally recommend getting into sim coders here. I'm also trying to figure out with sim coders a way to promo the new version and to make a video together and to feature all of the features of that pack. So still need to make some time to do that, but I think it's a really great product. And also what's actually the most important quality, I think, for any developer is just customer support, or the way that they are listening to us, or what kind of features we like, and they implement it quite rapidly. So as part of the beta team also, I know what they are up to, which is just great to see. So it's good spirit and it's good work, and well, combine those two and you've got a great product. So that's my definitely recommend it. Oh yeah, I'm gonna get it today. Is the beta out yet, Tim? I don't know. I guess the beta is only accessible for the beta testers. So I'm flying constantly with the latest beta, so I can show you how what the next beta version looks like, and it has some very neat features as well. That's going to be available very soon. I think it's going to be released the next week or so, or perhaps even sooner. I don't know. So the newest version is on the org store. Well, the newest, but that will be the 3.1 version that's currently public, and the 3.2 version will be public or released also very soon. But it doesn't really matter. If you now buy into sim coders, you will get access to that new version also, and any other future upgrades. So I will show you guys. Anyways, so that's why I put this also into my VFR sectional chart here, so we can fly to Swansea and practice some soft field landings there, which I think is good to know. Also, guys, I posted it on my Discord as well, which is so wonderful and was actually there already for a couple of years. I found another YouTube channel of a guy who decided to video record his PPL flight lessons. I've been following Eric Gravel, or Gravel. I think that was the first YouTube channel that I looked for and subscribed to when I started my Uncertified Pilot channel. It was great to see, for me, the first time I saw that much content of someone who actually recorded all of his individual flight lessons, and I learned so much from it, and I also built my student checklist mostly on top of that, or based off of that video content. But I have found, yeah, and now's the question, what is the name of that channel? But I found another PPL student who recorded all of his flight lessons, or was still recording all of his flight lessons, which is just great content. A great instructor as well, a much greater instructor, I think, personally, than the instructor that Eric had in that time. Let me see. That would be, how do I see it? YouTube, help me. Yeah, it's Tommy. I don't see the full name here, which is not. Yeah, here. Tommy Thomason. Tommy double M, Thomason, also with double S. And yeah, all of his private pilot lessons are, I think, there. I don't know if it's all there. I think the latest one is lesson 25, as I see here, which doesn't seem to me like the check ride also. But anyway, great instructor, and I found already many things that I thought, oh my gosh, that's great stuff that I should incorporate in my flight simming as well. So yeah, just a recommendation there. YouTube, great resource for aviation education. All right, getting on with the flight. So that's going to be our flight to Swansea, soft field practice, but also that obstacle departure procedure. In general, though, I think that those obstacle departure procedures are very basic to fly. Not at all that challenging, but as you know, I'm a little bit neurotic as it goes with training. I like to touch upon each and every individual skill or procedure or way of flying, at least here in the context of IFR flying, in an isolated way before I actually start doing the I ratings on Pilot Edge. So that's why I'm taking my time, and I just love to learn, and really incrementally. Okay, so obstacle departure procedure, and here at Borrego, so what we're going to do is not fly the 08, but we're going to fly the 26 departure. So let's have a note. Let's read out the notes here. Runway 26, numerous trees beginning 1,000 feet. I guess 1,000 feet from there. What is there? Seems like a waypoint, but perhaps it's a acronym for something else. Who knows what there is referring to, guys? Do you? Anyways, this is just a note that, well, shows us, points our attention to some of the obstacles that we can expect when we are departing a particular, taking a particular departure route here. 400 feet left of the center line up to, okay, so we know that there are some obstacles there, but again, this particular departure procedure that is depicted here guarantees us to stay clear of any obstacles or terrain. So as long as we stick to that procedure, then we'll be just fine, and these obstacles are just a heads up, I guess. Departure end of runway, thanks Finish. Wonderful again to have you here aboard as a coach. Departure end of runway, thank you Severo. Thank you guys, you guys already know so much more than I do about IFR. Okay, end of runway. Yeah, makes sense. Okay, thanks. Noted. Alright, then the minimums we already looked at, so in terms of 2.6, hey, that's also, I'm making a mistake there, don't I? Let me see. 2.6. If we're gonna depart, and that's the runway that we are gonna pick, which is away from the mountains actually. I just noticed a mistake there. So runway 26. No, I'm not. I missed. Guys, I'm confusing myself. Yeah, 26. So then we're flying to the west, and there are the mountains. So yeah, that means that we need to have that steeper climb gradient. And runway 08, that's the one that we're going to fly today. Brings us over to the Salton Seaside. Yeah, we need a less steep gradient. Got confused there. Sorry. Yeah. So can we meet that climb gradient? Yes, we can. So that's checked as well. Then here the departure route description. So I think that all obstacle departure procedures always have a textual description. Some also include a plan view here, which is really nice. I guess mostly when those are a little bit more complex. This one is still quite basic, I guess, but it includes always a route description. So runway 8, climb direct to Sealop, as we can see on top there, then via depicted route to Zungo. Yeah, very basic. So that means to Sealop, we're going to set that in the GPS zoom, and that's going to be 11 nautical miles from Sealop to Ernouf, I guess. 076, we're just going to follow the GPS there, and then from Ernouf we're going to go to Zungo. Is there any altitude that we need to hit? Well, yes, minimums. We need to climb that particular gradient, or at least that gradient to 2000. Do not exceed, yeah, not until Zungu. Okay, so I guess we need to stick at 2000, and that might perhaps be the case because otherwise we fly into other IFR traffic that is going into Palm Springs on Victor 137 or something like that. I don't know, but to 2000. Okay. So 2000 is going to be our cruise here up to Zungo. Well, that's it. So it's a very basic obstacle departure procedure. Once more, I just like to tick off these individually, so that's why. Sunday, guys. Ha! Sunday flying. Good stuff.